Hello, my name is Quincy, and I'll be playing Quincy as D&D as a half-elf artificer.
Hi, my name is Angel Giuffria, she, her, and I am playing Juni Grin, also she, her, who is a hobgoblin fighter, psi warrior.
Hello, my name is Rogan, Shannon, they, he pronouns. Today I will be playing Caelus Argentum, dragon, lineage, sorcerer, multi-classing with a Drake Warden Ranger.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Kretchmer, she, they, and I am playing Stella, she, her, your friendly neighborhood arcane trickster, blade singer, sea elf friend.
Hi, my name is Aliza Pearl, she, her, and I am playing Bergamot Dracendras, also she, her, who is a fairy dragonborn of brass ancestry, and she is multi-classing as a bard, fighter, arcane archer.
Hi, I am Makenzie the Armas, and I am the Dungeon Master.
I am an actor and consultant. I also do public speaking, and I was born missing the lower half of my left arm. I wear this awesome prosthesis, and then without my arm, it looks like this.
I work mainly as a deaf interpreter. Occasionally I make YouTube videos when I actually remember to do so. As a deaf interpreter, I work with a wide gamut of clients, but also I specialize in deaf-blind interpreting.
I am a content creator on the social medias, on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You've probably seen some of my videos where I run a fantasy fictional tavern, and I love to do cooking videos and affirmation videos, just encouragement pieces. I'm also a writer for cookbooks, and I also stream on Twitch for Dungeons and Dragons games on there as well. I was born with ectrodactyly, which is basically a fancy word meaning he don't got all his fingers. And yeah, was happy to be here.
I am an actor, writer, dungeon master, TTRPG performer, and player. And I also have fibromyalgia, which is a chronic pain condition and a chronic illness disability.
I am an actor, a performer, a tabletop author. I wrote on Candlekeep Mysteries. I am a streamer. I am also a disability consultant. I do a lot of very strange jobs. And I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is a connective tissue disorder, and some fun associated conditions with that, as well as ADHD. I am an ambulatory wheelchair user. I call myself the riddle of the Sphinx because sometimes I'm on two legs, sometimes I'm on two legs in a cane, and sometimes I am on wheels.
I am a game designer here for the D&D studio at Wizards of the Coast, and I am the Dungeon Master for this wonderful game. I myself identify as disabled. I am autistic. I have chronic illness. I have a funky little leg that is the butt of many, many, many jokes on my own behalf. And it has been such a joy to gather this group of awesome people together and tell an amazing story. When we were working on all these characters and all these story beats, it was so wonderful to see how immersive and beautiful the world can be when you take into a myriad of perspectives into account. And I got the chance to help create some things that I, on my own, could have never dreamed of, and it has been an honor.
Today I'm playing Juni Grin, who is a hobgoblin fighter psi warrior. I was really excited to play this character because I got to learn a lot of really awesome things about hobgoblins. I'm new to the game, and hobgoblins have so many awesome characteristics baked in that I don't think a lot of people realize. And then psi warriors are such a cool class. It gave me the opportunity to do a lot of cool stuff with my prosthesis.
So today I'll be playing Quincy, which Quincy was actually my very first D&D character. So online I go by the name of Quincy, but it's kind of because D&D brought me into this world. And so that was kind of like the username that I really enjoyed, and it's kind of like what I go by. But Quincy is a half-elf artificer artillerist because I love the idea of just crafting and combining magic with science and the gears and the construction process of it. So what, like, something I have with Quincy as a character is he has has, obviously with my love of food, he has his arcane focus is a spoon that he's carved his sigils into, and so a lot of the spells are done up in a very culinary way. So spices are used to firebolt, and different things in various sorts of ways are kind of adding, extra, for lack of a better term, flavor to the magic.
I'm playing Bergamot Dracendras. She is a fairy dragonborn, a bard, archer, fighter, and I really like mixing things up in my characters because I myself come from lots of different influences and backgrounds and trainings and vocations. She's also a bard, so I like playing both spellcasters and fighters, or people who are physical, barbarians, warriors. And so I wanted to combine those two things and make her an archer. She also has a lyre that is kind of connected to her bow, so she can pull the strings of the lyre, and it's also the bow that she launches arrows from.
I play Caelus Argentum, a dragon lineage sorcerer, multi-classing with a Drake Warden Ranger. I love playing magic classes, and I have yet to play a sorcerer, except for briefly as a playtest, but not really played the entirety of all parts of that type of character. And then for Rangers, the same thing. I've never played them as well, but I know that Rangers, they have some fun things such as animal companions. And when I saw that they had one specific, the Drake, I said, come on, you have to do it. So with sorcerers, they are full magic beings, and they have some fun spells that I really want to play with.
Today I am playing Stella, a sea elf, arcane trickster, and blade singer. I really wanted to play... blade singers are one of my favorite subclasses ever. I love casters, and I love Gish casters. Also, I'm a huge marine biology nerd, so I loved being able to flavor Stella's character and magic and attacks with actual marine biology nerd lore stuff.
Makenzie actually spent a lot of time with me working on this character to try bring her to life in a way that I felt that it was really important to me to showcase my prosthesis and my limb difference and my disability and how that's fit into my life. And being so new to the game, I thought it was awesome that Makenzie was able to kind of fit in all of these characteristics that were really important to me, like making my side prosthesis do all of these awesome things that I wish my real prosthesis could do.
Kind of came to everything ready to go, but one thing I did work with Makenzie very briefly was Quincy's motivation to come here to Stormwreck Isle was to experience dragons, and his personal goal was to get a dragon's tooth. So I worked it in with Makenzie. She's like, I can work with this. We can make this happen. And you'll have to watch and see how it actually happened. But Quincy kind of makes a mistake, and I didn't expect it to end up this way. But he does get his tooth, just probably not the way he wanted to.
Yes, I worked with my DM on creating magic items because my character is deaf like me. And I wanted a way to be able to understand people without having to rely on others or hoping that they happen to know common sign language. Having to tap them and sign and ask them if they understand. So we created a necklace of transliteration, and that allows me to do two things. First, I can actually understand languages, which allows me to be able to understand everyone else around me. Regardless of the language they're speaking, I can understand it. Unfortunately, it doesn't work the other way. So a second thing we did was use minor illusion. I don't recall how often I could use it. I believe it's 3 times a day or something. But basically, we use that to make captions in common so they can understand what I'm signing.
I worked with Makenzie to create the Fairy Dragonborn combo because I really like creating multi-ancestor, mixed ancestry characters because it, reflects on my own life and who I am. Fairies and Dragonborns are always really interesting to me, and I love the idea of this person and this culture that's deep in the Feywild. That my thought is the lore of this a brass dragon just ends up in the Feywild eons ago and begins to intermingle with the fairies of that land, and they started creating this culture and this fairy dragonborn family, this village, and that's where my character comes from.
I worked with Makenzie to create the Figurine of Wondrous Power wheelchair, which was a modified hermit crab made out of sea glass. We wanted to create something that was functional, but also that I could carry around with me to use as needed. And also I got the Makenzie okay as soon as I started reflavoring my spells with strange things like the mantis shrimp punch.
I was so happy to work with all these folks in bringing their lived experiences of their own disabilities into the game. A lot of what I did helping make their items was just listening to what they were telling me and going, yeah, I can make that into a D&D item. Doopity doopity doop, type, designer brain go burr.
Oh, I love Dungeons and Dragons, so I'm just excited to be here. But I mean, for me to be like invited by, Wizards of the Coast, Dungeons and Dragons, D&D Beyond, to be like, hey, do you want to be in the game? I'm like, absolutely yes. But also the fact that it's like full of players with, with disabilities. But, above that, we love the game and we love to tell stories. It's just honored to be here.
This game is very exciting to me because I've never been able to play with a whole table of people with disabilities, and with such diverse disabilities, people who are also super talented and really interesting, fun performers and players. Getting to be a part of this community, like D&D players who have disabilities, is really freaking fantastic, and I'm honored to be a part of this group. And then also, I'm super excited to see how all of these characters bring themselves to what they do and how we work as a team, because I have a feeling we're going to work really well as a team.
So I've been interested in Dungeons and Dragons for a long time, but I've always been a little afraid. And when I was reached out to for this game in particular, it kind of was like all of that fear melted away because of the people involved and the people at the table. Being a disabled person, I think working and getting to play with other people with disabilities, it made me feel comfortable and safe and realize that we all view disability as not a limitation or anything like that, but just as a difference and honestly what could enhance our characters. And it was that frame of reference and that frame of mind that made me so comfortable and excited about playing my first real game and being able to do this. So I'm so excited to get to meet these people and play with them.
I think it's really, really important to have disabled characters in fiction. I think in fantasy, we can make our fantasy better than our reality, and allowing people to bring their lived experience to that in creative ways and express themselves through character is so important. And it's not something you get to see very often in these types of ways. So this is an incredible table of phenomenally talented creators and performers. And to just get to sit down and roll dice with all of them is so exciting for me. And to have a bilingual table as well is really, really thrilling for me.
I'm excited to play the game today because I've played with a group of deaf players, full ASL table. However, I've never experienced playing D&D with hearing people, with interpreters involved. And that was a different experience for me. I just really enjoy playing D&D, telling stories, and being able to tell the story with other disabled players and having some commonality and some common understanding of what having a disability is like. And that's just really exciting to see how that might pop up in the game. For this, I would love for people to see and understand what we're trying to tell in this story. For deaf people, a big part of our community and our culture is telling stories. And D&D is great in that regard. Doing that collaboratively, that's what I really love about D&D. The collaborative part. And being able to tell a story with other people.
the thing that I hope people get out of this game is watching disabled players play like every other player and seeing our disabilities viewed in the frame that we view them, not the same way that other people view them when they play a game. In certain games, when someone loses an arm or no longer has the use of their legs, it's treated in a way that our table is not going to treat that. And they're going to see the frame of mind and the frame of reference that disabled people use, and how adaptive and accessible and how awesome that world is. And Dungeons and Dragons has been a great way for people to really get to see that world and how we can kind of be ourselves in it.
I hope that people who are watching this game have a really good time with it, that they come along with us, enjoy our characters, get on board for a really fun story and really creative new takes on some familiar favorites, but also that there is a new level of understanding about disability and inclusion at the table, and a recognition that having an inclusive table brings so much to the world of your fantasy stories, and also for your real life.
I am so excited about this game because it is filled with so many people who I love and admire, both for their work in the space and out. I get to create this amazing story and build out an awesome world that the touchstones of were first built in the starter set, but now I get to explore a whole other section of this island and look into one of the story hints that was just threaded quietly into the starter set and expand upon that whole draconic history of the island. I also get to help guide some people through an amazing game that incorporates and helps bring to life their lived experiences into a fantasy setting in a way that is enjoyable and cathartic. Something I always like to say when people ask me why my work about representation and diversity matters, I will always say that there is something so blissfully cathartic about watching something or reading something or experiencing something and seeing a part of yourself reflected in that. It is a feeling that if you've never had it, it's hard to describe because you don't know it exists and you don't know that it's a possibility. And getting to DM this game is getting to bring that possibility to so many more people playing D&D and bringing them into the game and welcoming them to the table, and it is amazing.
I hope that people see how much fun we're having and decide to continue to play their own games, or if they haven't played before, if they haven't tried to, I hope they start their own games, whether they want to become players and find a dungeon master or become a dungeon master themselves.
Oh, I hope people get out of this game that literally D&D storytelling games are literally for everyone. You can literally play this game. Please don't look at it as something complicated or hard or something that has a high learning curve. Jump in, just enjoy the ride. Learn as you go, but I promise you, you'll have a wonderful, wonderful time playing this game.